Welcome back to another episode. So the start of this one is a couple of stud removals. So what I'm doing here is putting a couple of washers on. Then you MIG weld these on, give you a bond. Then you put a nut on top of each one, weld them on. So I'm doing here. A bit of lubrication afterwards to help cool the stud and also lubricate to get out. And this first one comes out fairly easily. The second one is proving a lot more difficult, and what happens is the washer hasn't held very well, so I wire brush it off, then get another washer and weld that on, and then have another go and weld another nut on, give it a spray up again, but typically this then also snakes off. So get fed up with this, go back to the drawer, get a lot bigger nut, weld that on a lot better, make sure it doesn't come off this time, then tack it on either side of the washer to make sure that it doesn't break away from the nut, and then backwards and forwards, bit of lube again, help cool it, work its way into the threads, and the third time lucky, this one then starts to come free. There we go. 2 studs removed. Just like that. Right, what I've done is remove that stud and I'm going to put it back in there. So I've got this, mark the centre of the hole there, I'm going to drill it and tap it and put that quarter stud back in. So M6 is the nearest you can get. So I know that should have a little something under it, so I do have a plan for that. I don't know if to weld something on then grind it back, or sounds daft, put a washer on, glue a washer on, and then needle gun it, because I'm going to paint it. You'll never see it anyway. It's only just to, it's peace of mind as much as anything. Then I'm going to chop this one off, and then get that stud and wind it in there, and then needle gun all that so it'll blend it in. So that's the plan. So I'm just going to pop mark that. So I just want to double check 6mm, because it's 6.35 you would normally use. So right, so that's gone tight, so that's all at the bottom would say. Yeah, looks like it's all the way at the bottom to me. Try this. There we go. Yeah, but it is a little bit slack. Probably could do with drilling 5.5, but if I put some thread lock on it, it's only to support the oiler. It's tight when it locks in. But that spin you around. There you go. Nice little job that. So I'll just pack that up with something. Just wants to be up ever so slightly. See what I can find for that, and then I'll chop that one off, put that one in there, and I'll try and blend it all in. Right, so this is the solution I've come up with. So I've just got a washer, and I've just bent it curved ever so slightly, so it sits a bit flatter, and that'll sit on there. Then what I'll do, can't quite see it, I'll arrow dite that on,
Could even try and solder it on, just so it's got a bit of a softer edge. Might try a solder option actually. Clean that up and yeah, try and solder it on, get a bit of a softer edge to it rather than that harsh sharpness. Just wants a bit of a tweak. It's just not quite. That's better. So yeah, that's the plan. It's only to try and disguise this really, make it look like it's more like a casting. I could get the TIG out and weld a bit around there, then grind it down, but a lot of work for just making it look something like, say, the oil logo there anyway, as you see, and you will actually never ever probably notice it tucked in there like that. Bear in mind we're looking at it from the underside, because this is all going to be downhill. There's going to be a flywheel here as well, so chances are it'll probably never get seen. So I just want to get rid of these, because I know these are from a later model, because this barrel's been changed at some point in its life to the later barrel where this should be the wine glass oiler, so I want to do that, make it right. Right, scrap that. I've never tried to solder onto cast iron. Probably just learned something there that doesn't stick very well. That's a new one on me. It's one to remember. So the plan is, again, that's a square one. I'll stick it on. I'll knock my solder off my washer. It seems to stick to that pretty well. Like it says, not something I've ever done before, so I'm feeling it'd work, but obviously it didn't. Right, I'll get that cleaned up, that washer, and I'll come back, because that's stuck in with Loctite. I'll stick my washer on and then I'll tie it up to make it look all blended in. So it's a 2-part Gluey's Araldite. I think that's just a brand. That, I do have some proper Araldite, but I usually use the Gorilla Glue stuff, for the fact it just comes in a tube, and you always get even portions of each. You stir both parts together. This is cooled down yet. Yeah. And I'm going to put it on there rather than on the washer, and then drop the washer on, because I've got a feeling I'll end up with it on the bloody threads if not. And once this stuff sets, it sets like bloody concrete. Right, drop that on, give it a little squeeze. So what I also do, when it dries, it doesn't take long to dry, sort of 20 minutes, half an hour it'll be done. I'll get a bit of emery cloth and just rough it up, so then when I come to paint it, it'll stick, but it should just soften that edge a bit slightly and make it look more like a casting. Right, I'll leave that now. So that's all I can do on that one. So that just wants leaving to let go off. Might chop that off and screw that in there, and so it's ready to needle gun up. Right, that's that stuck on. Now dry. There, needle gunned up. You can hardly tell, like a little scar there from it, but it looks like a casting mark. So get the pot, put it on there. That's now got a, so as you'll see on there now, it's got a nice 2-bolt fixing. So, and the old 2 bolts that used to be down here in the way are now gone. So it's back how it should be. I feel a bit better that this is now also secure. I'm going to be secured by 2. It's a lot more sturdy now. So yeah, it's the next job. I'm going to crack on with the cylinder head while the compressor's fired up and get rid of some of these bits of welds. Right, the plan for the cylinder head, because it's being welded, is to take back these welds a bit, to blend them in a bit more, and make it so I can get these bloody nuts on, because if I get one of them off it now and put it in, you cannot get a spanner in the back. So, and this side I think is even worse. Yeah, it is. Even though the weld's smaller, it's worse. So the plan is to die grind this back. Use this little cutter and so make it look a lot more aesthetically pleasing. There's plenty of weld there, so got plenty to go at. And I'll yeah, once it's back, I'll needle gun it up again while the compressor's fired up, and yeah, make it look as though it was never been frosted, all being well. Right, that's all that chipped away. It's come up quite nice. I just need to needle gun it now, but the compressor's got too hot, so I'll leave that for a bit, and then I'll come back and I'll needle gun it up and try and make it look a little bit older. Right, that's everything done. So these are all nicely blended in now. This side's not so good, but it's just the way the weld is, but at least in there's a lot more room in both sides, so I can get the spanner in. So at the block here, I welded this up as well because it had a pipe on there from there down many years and it's gone rotten, so I'll get a grinder on that and grind that back. But I've done a bit on the inside. While I'm doing the mucky jobs, I've given these a bit of a tickle out as well, but I need to deglaze it, so I'll scrape that ring of carbon off the top and then I'll get the glaze buster out. And then I think, apart from a bit of grinding on that and a bit on that pipe as well, because that's done exactly the same on the end, all this lot can be then panel wiped or white spirited and ready for painting. So I haven't got that many jobs left, mucky jobs, before I run with some painting. Don't think I need any pressure on this because it's quite wound out already. WD-40, just lube the stones. Goes in there. Drill. Right, quickly show you. So you can see the remnants of the carbon here, the dullness. It's a bit more work to get to scrape that off, but you'll see the bar. So the scratching is actually good, and that's what you use the stones for. So get it to focus in there. There we go. So these micro scratchings, you spin the drill and shove it up and down, and you get a cross hatch on here. So the dullness and the scratch is good, because that's what holds oil. So when your piston rings in here, you actually get you don't get a metal on metal seal, you get a metal with a ring. Then you get a micro layer of oil in here, and then you get the liner. So it helps with lubrication and wear longevity. So, and also when you don't have this done, the oil comes from the bottom end past the rings and then smoke like hell. Now a two-stroke works slightly differently in the fact of the crankcase down here is linked to the bar via here. So comes up through there, through these holes, and you get oil at the top and the bottom. So they do use smoke, you do use oil and smoke obviously, but that's helped there to just lubricate the bar. So yeah, so that's that job. I think it's a mass tidy up again. Can't get my phone to do the focus. Mass tidy up again, square up, tart this up, because it's all, I've welded it up so it wants grinding nice and round, same as the top piece. And then I think once they're done, it'd be a quick do over the needle gun. You see in there, there's a bit I've missed in the corner here, same on that bearing housing, and a few other little bits and pieces, and I'll see about getting some top coat on. So that's my next job, is tidy up and grind up and a bit of top coat. Well, do them, then the bit of top coat. So I've still got a bit of work to do over here because I want to get this trolley stripped as well. So it's one of them, while this is in undercoat, I can start on that lot over there.